Alright, I kind of have no plan for this video, but we're just gonna get right into it. So what is popping, Loudmouth? My name is Loudmouth Jack, and this is another history video. Welcome back. Yes, I love that intro too. Anyway, now this history video is all about the dirty 30s and why it happened. All the big causes and leaders and everything after it and all the consequences it had. It was the stock market crash of 1929, baby. Widespread bank failures, like they shut down the bank and just didn't let people get any of their money. So that's why those brokers in guys, I'm having a really hard time trying to figure out what I'm saying. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is there was a lot of people that killed themselves by jumping off of roofs because they couldn't get their money back, like brokers and people who invested into the stock market. There we go. I finally got it out. Next thing about the 1929 stock market crash is overconsumption and overproduction of about everything that was happening at that time. Because if you have one thing and you want to make more of it, it's going to cost more money. But if it's going to cost more money, you got to take money out of tax reserves and out of the stock market and out of the economy because it's government funded. And if it's going to take way more, but people are starting to pull way out of the government, what's going to happen to it? It's going to crash and fall, and they got to shut down. And then that led to the overproduction and underconsumption of every big corporate out there and everybody that was living poor already. Closing of jobs, which was another big part of it. It was kind of like the biggest part in the 1929, but like also in the dirty 30s, it kept going and going. But the reason all the jobs kept closing was because the same reason of overproduction and underconsumption. Everybody just didn't have a job and couldn't pay for it. So a bunch of the managers and CEOs had to just fire everybody because they couldn't pay for it. Terrible distribution of the wealth and like the poor's here, the rich is up here, and it's just a big system. It's kind of happening right now, as you can see. Like you got Elon Musk with like 500 billion. You got us down here making like 33 grand a year. Next question: why did all the banks fail? Quick and easy answer: the Smoot-Hawley tariff. Less tariffs, less international trade, and through Federal Reserve contracts, which basically just let them fail. They said, hey, we're gonna hand you this in, you're just gonna need to wrap it up right now, Bob. You're gonna need to close it down. Can I just stop recording? I don't even know what I'm reading. What am I reading? Due tomorrow. How many points is it? Third question: what is the reason for all the job unemployment in general, and everybody in famine? With African Americans facing higher unemployment, discrimination, and violence, farmers suffering from low crop prices in the Dust Bowl, interment dwellers experiencing widespread job loss and poverty, families restrained by poverty, leading to higher rates of domestic violence, like stabby stab, gun. Did they have guns back then? Yeah, well, I don't think they had it readily available, but maybe they made a makeshift like pipe gun where they poof. Abandonment and a decline in the birth and marriage rates, which is kind of, we don't have that now, but it is getting really expensive to have kids and just keep kids going. I can see a decline in that. Oh yeah, I had a bit for that third one there. It was kind of like a compilation of like this or something, but I can't really do that now. So here's what it would sound like now. Yeah, I thought it was funny in bed, but it actually really wasn't. Moving on to the next question. How did the US citizens and economy stabilize after the dirty 30s? Instead of focusing on the economy and trying to get richer, they'd rather focus on like thrifting and shops, their own community, better entertainment sources, and radios and movies. The Americans became a little more frugal and happy after doing that. Obviously, they were still depressed. That's why it's called the Great Depression, right? It's called the Great Depression because they were depressed and they didn't have anything. You do know that? I hope so. We talked about it in history. Like we had roaring 20s and then we had dirty 30s kind of right after. Like it happened in the 1920s, like really late 1920s, like on Black Thursday, which is usually when all this came crashing down. Yeah, anyway, after everybody kind of got used to what they're doing now, the more people started to shift to other political views and demographics. It also actually turns out that they'd like to change the gender roles in that time. This next one's about how did it affect the economy instead of what happened after and what did they do. The US experienced a giant dramatic shift in its home economy and society. There's one cause to this, and it's because of the war, overproduction, and the need of production for the war, which caused houses to get less looked at and more industrialization of homes and houses. When it was all going down, everybody was rationing foods and just trying to figure out, what can we do to survive even a little bit further than now? And so because we were firing everybody right after this happened, because we can't employ anybody and it costs too much, a lot of CEOs and managers actually started hiring females and black men to do their jobs, because since females worked at home, essentially they said, well, you can work in the industry as well. And for the black people, that sounds racist, but it's not, I swear. Since all the white men were going to war, they would instead hire the black people to actually work after they went to war, taking their spot when they were at war. This next part's the 14 points, and we already kind of went through this in history class. This is the explain the 14 points part. So I'm just kind of gonna shoot through this. Open diplomacy without secret treaties, economic free trade on the seas during war and peace, equal trade conditions, decreased armories among all nations, adjust colonial claims, evacuation of all central powers from Russia and allow it to define its own independence, meaning, hey, we can do this ourselves. Belgium to be evacuated and restored. Return of Alsace-Lorraine region and all of French territories. Readjust Italian borders. Austria-Hungary to be provided an opportunities for self-determination. The exact same thing basically Russia got. Redraw the borders of the Balkan region, recreating Romania, Serbia, and Montenegro. Creation of a Turkish state with guaranteed free trade in the I'm just not even going to say that. Creation of an independent Polish state. Creation of the League of Nations, which is that big thing that William Woodrow and Teddy wanted to talk about. They said, hey, we're going to talk about trying to fix all of this and seeing what works best, and also just putting the blame on all of Germany, which I will get into. But yeah, did you guys notice that one part? I think I'm going to go back at it. It's line 11. Redraw the borders of the Balkan region. Balkan rage? Oh, man. That's terrible. Still water. Guilt war clause, which is just Germany, and this is Germany's fault, so we hate you sincerely. Goodbye. And I'm just gonna kind of put this all into one sentence. Everybody gets together to blame Germany and say, hey, we're gonna strip everything that you own and lessen everything that you own and make you a poverty country at the same time. Well, Germany didn't like this. And then, well, let's say 5 years later, there's this little painter that just, he's got an idea. He's got a dream, you'd say. And he would just really like to lead a country. But he doesn't like a specific set of people. I think they're called Jews. He just doesn't really like Jews at all. So he says, hey, you did this to me, and now I'm going to show you what I can do. So he essentially wants to start World War II right after that. Very last point of this, which is number 8, which was more effective. The Treaty of Versailles with 14 points. Now, if you think the Treaty of Versailles is actually better, we have help. We can get plans for you. There's a lot of things. Maybe just talk to your mother, your dad, or anybody close to you that can really help you out in this hard time. Because I know it may be hard to understand that the 14 points, even though it has a worser name and it's not really that clever, the square deal would have been a lot better than this, but we just kind of have to come to terms that the 14 points was a lot better than the Treaty of Versailles. Treaty of Versailles was just kind of, hey, that's your fault. And the problem is, we went through with the Treaty of Versailles. We didn't do the 14 points. And for some reason, why wouldn't you? Who made this decision? Who was in that room? Who was in the interrogation room and went, yep, all here say favor aye or nay? What are you doing? In all honesty, I kind of didn't even want to record this video, but I did. I ain't got anything else to show you, but I will show you this. It's my sad outro that I'm gonna show you really soon after this. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have a great day, a great month, a great year, a great life. Just have a good time. See ya. Okay, yeah, copyright, so I can't really do it anymore. Bye.